for it, who cares, you know? And I think celebrating blasphemy, celebrating apostasy, celebrating the things that people find they're too afraid to speak about is hugely important. So one of the things I did for a March 8th event, I took the Iranian flag, which has an Allah in the middle. I cut the Allah out and put my pussy there. And
what, your actual literal pussy? Or a drawing of you?
My actual literal pussy. Yeah, so it was in front of the Louvre, and it was a naked protest, and people had to hold their flags. And I was like, I'm not holding that fucking flag. The only way I hold it is if I have to burn it. But if I cut out the Allah and put my pussy there, that will make it more tolerable for me. And it was a brilliant action. It went explosive in Iran, and so many people. But so many people who defended what I did, you know. And again, this idea that anyone who is Muslim can't stand it would be such an offense. No, there were people who were offended, and many people who were like, "Good on you, you know, carry on."
We've only got time for a couple more questions. So I know you had your hand up, and anybody else? Okay. So that and then.
Thank you all. That's just been lovely. I have a question. I am routinely going to visit our Venezuela, which I kind of feel great about actually, because if I wasn't, I'd be doing it wrong. So I've kind of taken that as a badge of honour. What I find difficult now is when I speak about Islam in particular, what comes back at me as the silencing mechanism is that's white feminism trademark. And so my question is, what's the most useful thing I can do to be visibly aligned and in solidarity without this getting hijacked into a whole other displacement activity? That's my question.
I just wanted to ask about puberty blockers, because I'm a parent of 4. If one of my children has a temperature, I don't give them Calpol, I kind of wait, and if it's a serious one, I might consider it because I don't want to give them loads of drugs. Yet, these parents are tripping along to a doctor, listening to a child. I mean, who listens to children? I don't. Listening to a little boy saying, "I'm a girl," and they go, "Oh God, what can we do? We want to be the best parents we can be. Therefore, we must subscribe to this whole notion that, yes, darling, you can have your penis removed or not, you know, when you're 18, and we'll give you puberty blockers and we'll stop all this nasty stuff." And they're just going, what? How? How can you do that harm to your child and still think you're this badge-wearing fucking brilliant parent? I don't get it. I just don't understand.
Just really quickly, so I said to myself I wasn't going to get on my high horse and get them into jet because we've got amazing women that can speak. But just on the point that you made, I personally think that the women that are shutting you down whenever you do want to talk about Islam are actually more racist, and they want to look at themselves. And I think that is exactly what you should have thrown back at them, because for us, I mean, the bikini issue, thousands of white feminists came out and spoke against that. But at the same time that the Iranian chess tournaments, when that white woman decided she wasn't going to wear a hijab, no feminists came out in support of that. So we were ultimately quite strongly betrayed. So that would be my kind of addition. But Miriam can give you loads.
No, but I mean, I don't understand why just because you're white or brown or black or whatever, you can't speak about certain issues. When has that been the case, you know? I mean, if that's the case, then you can never be anti-slavery. If you haven't been a slave personally, you can't be, pro-gay rights because you're not gay. So I'm sorry, I can't comment on that. You know, when did that become a thing? The whole thing about progressive politics is that we stand in solidarity with people, not because they look like us, but because these are important social issues, and we want to make sure that we side with, the oppressed versus the oppressor, And so I think that's one issue. The other is, as Sadia said, why do you assume that just because someone is Muslim, they don't have any criticism or dissent? Maybe the woman who's even wearing a veil has been forced to wear it, There are many Muslims who are questioning. I mean, the fact that there are lots of ex-Muslims, there's a tsunami of ex-Muslims throughout the world. Well, some of those people used to be Muslim, didn't they? And it's a question of them questioning, criticizing. People are not homogenized boxes with one single identity, you know, and I think the question is, why side with, you're actually siding with the Islamists, you're siding with those in power, the gatekeepers of the community, when you only agree with what they say and never are able to challenge it, you know. And for me, I think, I don't care who it is or what it is, you know. Sam Harris is an atheist, I'm an atheist, I'm not allowed to speak about it, you know. That's not the issue. The issue is what's right and what's wrong from our perspective. I mean, the thing I always ask people is, don't tell me, well, you know, the woman who's veiled, she's chosen it and such and such. Tell me what you think is right first. Do you know what I mean? Start with that. What are your principles? Where do you think you should be standing? And then try to, you know, go on from there in the sense of already having a discussion. The discussion's already decided upon because it depends on the person's identity.
When we were talking at Goldsmiths on Wednesday, one of the students was talking about how a lecturer said that she couldn't comment on FGM because of her colonial past. And every woman now knows there is something wrong with having Ivanka. You know, and actually it's not just an issue faced by minorities. The last woman, the last girl to be cut at the age of 5 in the United States was in the 1940s. So it has affected white women. Just because now it's an issue for the women doesn't mean that you shouldn't be talking about it. I think inside you, you know, you have a sense when something is wrong and someone's being harmed. If you have that sense, then be free to speak.
Well, a good point about that is Nimco Ali, who's Somalian, who is a great, you know, anti-FGM campaigner, who was called a white feminist and told she was practicing white feminism because she's not only against FGM, she's against the sex trade also, by Paris Lees, who was raised as a white man and now says that he's a woman. How mad is this? I mean, she just tells me to fuck off. And I was put on Islamophobia watch back in 2007 because I wrote a piece about Muslim Pakistani grooming gangs in the north, and clearly, you know, from an anti-racist perspective, looking at how the police had just allowed this to happen. And I was immediately on Islamophobia watch, and I thought, this is outrageous. And then I realised, of course, it was a badge of honour. But I found out that it had been started by 2 white, hard-left men, one of whom became a very good friend of mine, because we talked. We talked. And he died last year, but he was involved in a relationship with a very, very good feminist. And she would chip away at this, and we had lots of conversations. And he got it. Like 2 white men started that.
But it's us, like, we're called coconuts and native informants, Islamists. And again, it's because this is the identity that is the correct one. And anyone who questions it, you're actually, you know, promoting white politics, and it's not the case, is it?
Just thinking about Limco, I was getting really annoyed the other week about, there's a cover of one of the celebrity magazines that had designer vaginas on it, and it was like, new craze, and one of the quotes was like, my husband wants me to be like a virgin or something. And Limco was straight away said, that's FGM. Of course, you know, it's white women having FGM, it's not like a culturally contained issue.
It's like comparing sex with rape.
Yeah.
You know, one has consensual choice and one is completely non-consensual. It's having a choice completely different.
But the neck on somebody calling Nimco a white feminist.
I bet you Amanda.
She sorted it.
I was just thinking about the puberty blockers question as well. I think it's horrendous. It absolutely appalls me because, and at the same time, we're getting all these reports about sexual harassment that teenage girls experience. No wonder they don't want to go through puberty.
Right.
No wonder they don't want to get breasts and have their bras pulled at and all these things. You know, it makes logical sense not to want to go through puberty. But I worry that in a few years' time there'll be huge fallout from this,
Absolutely.
from children who've been physically damaged by
Yes.
this.
Mm.
I
Yes.
think feminists will get blamed for it somehow.
Oh,
yeah.
It will be our fault. No.
And I do think the reason why you would be seen as a bigot if you went to the school and challenged this is because it has been conflated with lesbian and gay bigotry and
It
oppression.
has, yeah.
And I find that so offensive as a lesbian. I find it so offensive that my, you know, the group of people that, you know, have really fought, you know, within women's liberation and lesbian liberation, are now being told, well, this is exactly like the bigotry that you got. No, it isn't. This is not a sexual identity. And for women, it can be, you know, an end to oppression, not an oppression itself, to be a lesbian. And this is a gender fuck-up. It is not a sexual identity. So this really worries me, that it's becoming conflated with rights movements rather than what we know it is, which is damage done to young people because of gender punishment.
Well, kids are still really homophobic, aren't they? They call each other gay all the time as
Well, it's a
as an
conversion
insult.
therapy to give lots of you know, young people drugs. I mean, look at where the biggest number of sex reassignment surgeries are done in Iraq. No, this is not a progressive state, is it? Well, and Iran, of course, yes. So I think Iraq just tops it for now. But why is that? Because you can't be gay or lesbian, but you can be a proper traditional man or woman. So it's all regressive.
And do you think a lot of the sort of gendering of children, is to do with people's parents who would rather have a girl, a
Yeah.
daughter, than a gay son?
Yeah.
A son, yeah. So it's quite
And then, of course, the
homophobic.
mantra that some parents now use, and they've been taught this by Mermaid, I'd rather have a happy daughter than a
Oh yeah,
dead son.
yeah.
And these suicide stats that have been unpicked over and over again by Stephanie and by others that work with young people and on these issues, we need to challenge these. Obviously, any young person taking their life, for whatever reason, is a tragedy. It's terrible. But we need to stop believing this nonsense that 98% of all young trans people, because of feminists, of course, take their own lives. This really, because this is scaring kids. It's not just silencing us.
And I think as well it puts them under pressure. Again, it makes me think of eating disorders and the competitive nature. I think it makes them feel that authentic trans kids
Right.
is suicidal, and you must prove that you definitely really are serious by threatening suicide. I think there's a real social contagion element. It's really dangerous.
It's like a fugue state, isn't it?
That's all we have time for now. Sorry, and thank you so much. And we're coming back up on. So go get yourselves ready.
Right, how do we turn it off?
Great fun.
We don't need to film the workshop.
No. I'm just wondering, do you just power this off when it's finished?
I don't know.
Mariam, do I just power this off when it's finished? Yeah. Yeah.
Are you